Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors. Today we're going to look at this nice Dynaco FM-3 stereo tuner. This is one that I just did some restoration work, just warming it up here. Just off the side of the camera I have a Kenwood KA2002, which is a transistor amp. The two are paired together. It's on top of my Akai digital tuner, and I was just doing that for comparison. And this thing works really nicely now. Let's get some audio going.
Contacted us, we'll send it free of charge. Connect.
Don't discount.
Max Webster from the 70s. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about this one. I've owned several of these. Hadn't had one for a few years. And I saw it on eBay, and it was listed as lighting up but not working. And it wasn't working that well. But it was all there, and it was actually this clean. The case had been painted in sort of a hammer tone black, which was they actually did a very nice job, so I left it that way. And it was pretty dirty inside. You know, the boards attract dust. There have been some interesting modifications done. I picked this up for 50 bucks plus shipping as a non-working unit. Some interesting modifications. The 3 PEC modules, the 2 that are on the multiplex board, had already been upgraded to the Epperson ones that you can buy pre-made. So if somebody had bought the Epperson kit that had the 3rd one on the near the discriminator tube, and which improves the audio, they kind of sound rolled off in the highs if you don't have that. This thing just sparkles. Now, we're up in a high-rise here on the 15th floor. I have a pair of vintage rabbit ears off to the side as a tuner, and I'm picking up a lot of stations. Quite amazing. The Akai Digital does pick up a few more, but there's something about the sound of this one. Anyway, it had the new PEC modules, but somebody had gone through it and replaced capacitors. There's several capacitors that are sort of a early polyester type of cap. They're John Fast capacitors, and they had increased the value on them but mismatched them. Like, for example, there's a 0.47 cap between the end of the IF strip and the multiplexer, a 0.47 and a 0.2. It was replaced with a 5.6 microfarad and a 4.7 microfarad. Great big things just jammed in there, and it messed up the whole alignment. They had left in the original fast capacitors and soldered other ones in under the board, doubling and sometimes tripling the values. So what I did is got all those caps out of there, and I used orange dips, the Cornell Dubelier orange dips, and they're very reliable. Now the tough thing, there's a metal can, capacitor can, 40, 40, 20, 20 microfarad, 350 volt. I bought some of these reproduced cans, and I've had quite a few of them fail early. It's hard to stuff caps into a can. I know they shouldn't fail, but some of them have failed within weeks or months. So what I do is, under the chassis, I use a terminal strip and individual capacitors mounted in a place where there's a screw hole. So I used 4 brand new caps, put in some new dropping resistors, because you got to clip the old ones out. And so it's a nice clean installation underneath. It can be removed. You can hook back up the old can. It wasn't humming or anything, But boy, did it clean up the sound. Great stereo separation. And the funny thing about it is, it has all original Dynaco tubes, Dynaco label tubes. Cleaned up the boards. Once I got all the components in correctly, I went through to align it. Every single IF can was spot on. The tuning cap was spot on. The dial indicator was on. The multiplexer was on frequency. It just took a tiny bit of touching up. The indicator tube works. Replaced the number 47 dial lamp. And I've been playing it and enjoying it. And it's almost, it almost sounds too good, because you sometimes get this expectation that a tube FM tuner will drift or isn't as sensitive. This one is very sensitive, and the only time it really drifts is if you're on a very weak station. You listen to it for about an hour, it might be just need a little tiny brushing up, which is unbelievably good for this type of tuner. So anyway, it's working, it sounds great, and thanks for listening and watching.